Good morning. It is Sunday, and this felt like the perfect day to start, in some capacity, the American Rapture reading vlog. Now, American Rapture is not officially out yet. It doesn't come out until I think the 15th, but I won, like I was literally like in a sweepstakes thing, a copy of the ARC. So I'm super excited because I actually get to read it early, and literally this book is my like top anticipated read for the year. So American Rapture is by CJ Leede, who did May Fly. And if you haven't read May Fly, think American Psycho, but you're in Hollywood and there's Disney, and our main character is a princess who is obsessed with eyeballs. There you go. That is all I'm giving you for that. I did enjoy May Fly. Though, just like American Rapture just seems like so peak me, because while I love a slasher girly, while I love a killer woman, American Rapture is a Midwest-based apocalypse situation involving a girl raised Catholic and having to survive in what is basically a sexpocalypse. That's not the real description. I will find you the actual description, but like, it's Catholicism. It's the Midwest. It is an apocalypse that makes people really, really wanna, you know, do the thing that you're not supposed to do in Catholicism unless you're married. So I just like am so excited. The cover is also very cool. I don't have it on me right now. It is upstairs because I'm making breakfast. So I'm just telling you this is the start of it. And to kick off the morning, I have made French toast sticks and coffee, and I will show them to you. So give me one sec. I am going to cold foam my coffee. This is just pumpkin spice cold foam. And because I was thinking about May Fly, I am using this very cute Mickey Mouse pumpkin mug because it makes sense if you have read May Fly. So, ta-da! I'm just gonna pumpkin out this. Ta-da! This mug is also from my sister. She found it at a TJ Maxx, and it has a tiny, tiny chip on the ear, and so they marked 99 cents off because it's sold as is, and it's like the tiny, you can't even see it. So anyway, that is my coffee. Krista has coffee upstairs, and then let me plate these up. But I will be doing this vlog about American Rapture. These are the French toast sticks, FYI. You may recognize these from your school lunches if you lived in the Midwest, because we totally had these in the late 90s, early 2000s as a staple lunch. One of the lunches that occurred once a month was French toast sticks with a side of sausage. I don't ever remember us getting potatoes, and then you'd get orange juice that was mostly frozen, and then you could have milk. Except I hated drinking milk, so I would get the French toast sticks. I didn't eat meat, so I always gave my sausage away, or I just didn't get it at all. At the time, I didn't eat meat. And then I would drink the very slushy orange juice, and sometimes I would just like ask people if I could have their gross orange juice, because I would prefer slushy orange juice to milk, even though it didn't really taste like juice. So there you go. The reason I'm so excited for this particular book, you see, is I, if you could not tell, was raised Catholic in the Midwest. And we're talking like, went to Catholic school, and then when I was done with Catholic school, like I left Catholic school because I felt like my education was not being met well, personally. In the 5th grade. I was like, I'm not learning enough. I would like to go somewhere else. So I went to public school after 5th grade. And then I still did Catholic things because Catholic. So I would go to PSR, which is religion classes on Sunday, so that I could still be confirmed in the 8th grade. I did that until I graduated from middle school. You don't have to go in high school. But my mom was in the choir and the bell choir and cantor, which meant I was in the choir and the bell choir, and occasionally a cantor. So I was at a Catholic church at least 2 to 3 times a week for most of my life, even into college, because I went to college at a regional campus in my area, so I lived at home because there were no dorms. Though I would have stayed at home anyway, because my dad worked at the school. It was a whole thing, and it was way cheaper to be at home. So like, I was going to church all the time. I sang at funerals. I sang at masses. I did a lot of things all the time. So like, I was raised in a level of Catholicism that I feel is perfect for this book, because just so much Catholicness happened. So I'm just very excited. I will get into it. I will show you the book soon, but we're gonna do breakfast. I think we're gonna watch Heartstopper, the new season, I think, to start the day. Although Krista just put on a football game, so I don't know. And then later tonight, the Steelers are playing, so we're gonna have the Steelers on. I think I'm gonna read during the game after I finish eating dinner, because I'm making dinner during the game. But yes, so there you go. This will be the American Rapture vlog. I will not spoil anything. You're just gonna get lots of reactions and hopefully excitement, and maybe some weird asides about being raised Catholic in the Midwest. because I can do that, and I will talk to you later. Also, I'm wearing a very fun Goosebumps shirt because I did not want to dress nice on Sunday. I just wanted to be comfy and cozy, and here we are. I'm comfy, I'm cozy, no makeup. I'm not doing any of those things today. So yes, I will talk to you later today about American Rapture. Good morning. It is the Monday. It is before work. I have a little bit of time to talk to you about the incredible American Rapture. I am on, so there are no chapters. It does have like breaks, so things are not labeled a chapter. So each, what would be a chapter is labeled with like just a title, and sometimes there are interludes with like a little typed up thing about like how would you know if the world is ending, or it'll include like a to-do or something like that. So I can't really tell you a chapter, but I can tell you that I am on page 112. And oh my gosh, so good. You're gonna have to wait a sec before I get into it though, because I do want to show off my fun shirt. This is my Freddy 2 shirt. I love this shirt. It's very fun. I am going with it because there are some like pretty sexy things that happen in this movie, and I feel like that fits very well with American Rapture. So that's what I'm wearing today, and it's actually cold out, which is wonderful. Like, it feels like fall. It thunderstormed most of last night, but my office is still a little warm. I'm right above the kitchen, and we were using the oven a lot yesterday, so like my office is a little toasty. So I'm just in a t-shirt, and I don't know if you can see them. They're very cute though. They are orange shorts that have like Snoopy printed into them. I think it's just him. Yeah, him is a little vampire. So that's what I'm wearing. But I will get into American Rapture now. I just want to show my very fun, casual, it's too hot for the sweater I wanted to wear today outfit. But, oh my gosh. So I, again, promise, no spoilers. We are introduced to Sophie, who is our main character, and she is, in this story, our main focus. So if you read Mayfly is also the main character, and everything is from Maeve's point of view. So this is also all from Sophie's point of view. Now, we occasionally get some like little flashback moments to things that have happened previously with her and someone who's not there. But it is all her, and she has just a lot going on. So Sophie is raised in a very strict Catholic household, like super strict. Her mom wears, I think it's a scapula. Is it scapula? I may be calling it the wrong thing. It is this small, I had a couple as a kid, but I didn't know what you were supposed to use them for. And I actually asked my mom once, and she was like, oh, you wear them. But she was like, no one really does that. But it's basically a little cloth piece on one side and another cloth piece on the other. I think mine had saints on them. But the one her mom has, I think has God, like, I forget what they say is on it, but it has like religious figures. It's supposed to help you feel like closer to God. So like, that's part of the level at which we're at. We're also at a level where like she has been raised, Sophie, in the mentality of such hardcore Catholicism that she's concerned about having a bad thought because that is as sinful as a bad action. Her parents really don't let her experience the outside world almost at all. She has no phone, no computer, and it's the present. Like, we are set in the present. She is not allowed to read certain books. She can only read middle grade level books, she says, but only certain ones. There's like a list, and how-to books. So she has read every single Dummy's Guide to book except for 2. She was currently on the last 2 she had to read. Like, she had picked them up. That's a tiny spoiler. I'm not telling you what they are, but that's like really all she can read. So she just can't, she doesn't really interact with people because her family is so strict, and she goes to, the community is also very strict. She goes to an all-girls school, and there's an all-boys school. They are both Catholic schools. They are run by, I'm assuming, priests and nuns, because nuns run the one for girls, and we just like see the boys around. And then there's always church on Sunday. She's only allowed to eat certain things, so it's very, very restrictive. And on top of that, we do talk about her uniform. So she does have to wear the very standard schoolgirl uniform. We don't get a color, but it's the plaid skirt, white top, cardigan, and, or like a, I'm assuming pullover sweater. It could be a cardigan, but she says sweater, and I just imagined it as the pullover kind. So she's primarily in that outfit because that's just like what she wears. It's what she wears to school. It's what it is. So we're getting a lot of what Sophie is contending with just in her daily life. She is struggling with concepts of her faith. She is trying to deal with her parents. And I don't want to share, but there's like an event that has occurred that has altered her relationship with her parents even farther than just her really like having been raised in such a strict environment. So something has happened to really, I'm going to say strain the relationship, but that's not fully it. That's all I'm going to say. And that's what's going on. So we have gotten all of this set up for Sophie and her family life and what is going on. And then we are learning as we go forward that there is a flu going around. And like, her parents are like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're protected. It's fine. And the issue is that they believe they're totally fine because of God. And it's not the case. So there is this flu. That's what they keep calling it. It's going around. But now this is in sort of the back matter of the book. So I will say the flu has mutated from like sniffles, sneezes, fevers to sniffles, sneezes, fevers, some weird's going on with your hands, and oh, hey, you may randomly want to try and mount your neighbor. Like, so it is a very frightening, frightening flu, and we are introduced to it very abruptly, and it is unpleasant. It is a lot, and Sophie was already thinking about sex. No, she's about to turn 17, so this is totally natural, but she's like having issues with like the thoughts of sex and how you are not supposed to have sex, and her mom had a whole discussion with her. That's all I will say about that. But there's like a whole thing about like sex, whether you should have sex, you shouldn't have sex because you're not married, and then like, should you have sexual urges? No, because you shouldn't, and it's like a whole thing. It's all very unhealthy, Catholic guilty stuff that is happening in Sophie's head. So yes, it was very jarring for Sophie, and I was just like, oh my goodness gracious. I am loving this book so far. Like, I am in it. Now, I am loving the writing. I'm loving the explanation of Sophie and her thoughts on like her faith and what's going on in her head in terms of like what she's been led to believe, because like she really is not okay. So there's just a lot. There is a lot for Sophie to contend with, and I am loving it. I'm loving it so much. I will say it is different because when I experienced May Fly, I had to get the audiobook because I couldn't get it in my area, and so I had an Audible credit, so I got it on Audible. So it's always interesting to me when I have listened to a writer first and then I read. So I feel like the writing style, or at least like the tone, is slightly similar. Like, you would know CJ Leede wrote both of them, but this character has so much more like, oh God, like literally like, oh God, not like saying it in vain. She would never say it in vain. Has just so much going on with like, I shouldn't think that, I shouldn't do that, I think this is wrong, but also like, is it wrong? And so many things. But I'm loving it. I love Sophie as the main character. It is like my peak kind of book. I was correct. I am so curious to see where this goes. I have a lot left. So I have over 200 pages left, and I'm just so curious to see where everything goes. But I wanted to fill you in because I had at least gotten that far. I am hoping to finish the book by Wednesday. That's the goal, because I have 2 books that I want to read this week that will not be in this vlog, but that's the goal. I'm just so excited. I just want to keep reading. I did read during the football game a little. As a goofy little silly fact for you, the Steelers game got delayed because of weather, so it did not start until very late, and we went to bed at like after midnight and the game was still going on, and they were playing in Pittsburgh, which I thought was wild. So I gotta go. I gotta finish getting my work stuff all set up for the day, because work is about to start, and I will talk to you when I have American Rapture updates. I also have a silly thing in my office I want to show you that is kind of related to this, but I'll wait till I have like an actual book update to show it to you instead of just like, hey, look at the thing. So keep that in mind. You're going to see a fun, goofy Catholic thing that I have in my office all the time. Yeah, just keep you on your toes, but I will talk to you later. you two? Are you comfy? You look comfy. Super comfy. Napping. Hi. Oh! Apparently she does not want you there, Binks. She would like to be left alone. Oh goodness. Oh, you were very silly. Goose would really like you to leave. I think she was hoping for some, like, solo mom cuddles, but no, dude, you don't care. She's gonna keep bopping you. I can tell. Oh goodness, you two are ridiculous. Hello, slight outfit change. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves though. It is the end of my workday. The sun is out, even though it looked like it was gonna storm for like a hunk of today. But yes, day is over. I still have my window open because it's so nice having like an actual breeze in here. But I put on my Beetlejuice sweatshirt and you can't see them, but I have on matching Beetlejuice sweatpants because I got cold, but I want to be cold as opposed to being hot. So I'm leaving the window open, just added more layers. So, you saw me reading a little bit during my lunch break with the cats. So I am further in this. Again, because no spoilers, I'm not going to get into too much, although we have been introduced or reintroduced to other characters. So we have met a police officer. We have had someone from Sophie's town show back up. And we've met some other people, just I think to give us a general idea of how this flu is affecting people. So kind of like the events that are caused by this whatever it is are terrifying. The scenes where people are suddenly fully, it's called Sylvia, so I'm gonna say fully Sylvia'd. They are very creepy, very horrifying, very uncomfortable, but like very well written in the fact that I'm like, ooh, ooh, so yes, very good. We have met a dog. I am going to mention that. The dog's name is Barguest, which it's a big black dog and pretty scary looking. And I did look this up because I was like, this has to mean something. Barguest is actually like a word that means like a large dark entity or a large dark animal. Like it has something along those lines. So the name actually describes the dog. I'm just telling you there's a dog because I, in this moment, I'm concerned for the dog in that this is a horrible environment for a dog. I'm just like, I don't trust that this dog will be okay. And I just want you to know that as like a trigger warning of sorts. I don't know. The dog could be totally fine. I'm just telling you there is a dog, and based on other books I've read recently, I don't trust any animal is safe. So I'm just throwing that out there. Not as a spoiler, just know there is a dog. I know that the dog has been made apparent because it was posted on CJ Leede's Instagram. So like there was a tarot card with the dog on it. So I'm not worried about telling you about the dog. So there's a dog. But yes, we've met a number of people. We are learning more and more about, I'm gonna call it Sylvia, just because that's kind of what they're calling it. They call it a couple of different things. But like that's the main word. And again, I don't think that's a spoiler. It just doesn't have a name on the back of the book, but you know there is some kind of contaminant of sorts. So yes, so it is wild. The aggressiveness of certain scenes, I'm just like, oh, good God above. So yeah, I'm super enjoying it. I am enjoying watching Sophie's progression throughout the book. And what I mean there is not like, it's more like an openness to do new things or like trying to focus on doing something that she would not normally do. My window is open and there's a traffic light right there, so sorry. People don't understand this traffic light, so they honk a lot because people like won't go through it. It's a whole thing. It doesn't really matter right now, but there's always a lot of honking. So like she's just learning truly that she has lived a sheltered life, which makes sense because we know she was raised in a very conservative Catholic environment, and like so conservative that like she did not know things were happening in life. Like she just didn't know stuff was going on. So yes, I am very much enjoying it, still enjoying it. I would love to just like be able to read this all in one go, but that's not possible because I have stuff going on. But yeah, so I would love to have done this in like one sitting, which I knew was impossible, but I absolutely want to be reading it every moment that I'm not reading it. I think you would understand that. So yes, she keeps talking about her school uniform, and oh my gosh, I just, as an aside, while we're in this moment, so I did mention that I went to Catholic school, and I went to Catholic school when I was pretty young, so I only had to wear uniforms for 5 years, and the uniform code was very interesting. So if you were, oh gosh, what was it? If you were a girl, and I'm just going to say if you were a girl because there was no like caveats, it was if you are a girl, and that's all they would say. Like, you did not have any choice in the matter. You had to wear what was called oh god, what were they called? Wasn't a skirt, jumper. They're called jumpers. So the jumper had like two very large, I thought this was so stupid, two giant strips of fabric that literally went down your chest, like covering your boobs, which is so weird to me. Like, I was young, so it didn't matter, but I did have boobs kind of early, so like you notice when there's a thing that's like on your boobs. So like there was like this fabric that went down, and then you had a skirt, and the skirt had to come down to your knees, like not even that hand thing where it's like if you put your hands and the tips of your fingers, no, knees. And then you had to wear knee-high socks. I don't even, maybe I could wear tights, but I don't really remember wearing tights. And then like certain shoes, and I know for a fact that I had like saddle shoes for a really long time, like I think they're saddle shoes, they're like the black and white shoes with the brown sole. I had those because they were like the easiest shoe to get at Payless that fit our dress code, and so I wore those for a very long time. I had those, and then the uniform, because I could not wear, like, you had to wear a white button-up shirt or a yellow button-up shirt, and I owned one yellow one that was like a hand-me-down from one of my mom's friends whose kids also went to Catholic school, and then I had a bunch of white ones because you could get the white ones for pretty, like, you could get those anywhere. You didn't have to get them from the specific like clothing store. So there was a specific place you had to go, and it was called like the Lion, the something Lion, and you had to go and get fitted if you wanted things. So like, since I could only wear the jumper, I know my mom got like a couple from some friends, because like there were a lot of Catholic schools, and like the one I went to, the uniform, she like knew someone who also had a kid that went there, and so I got her jumpers, but we were not the same size, so like I could not wear her jumpers for very long. So I know at one point I had to get fitted for a new one, and it was terrible. Like, you had to go and they like do all this stuff, and they obviously upcharge you and like want you to buy all this extra stuff. And then when it was cold, because you couldn't wear long sleeves, like our shirts were short sleeve with the jumpers, you couldn't wear a long sleeve shirt, which was weird, because the boys could wear long sleeves but we couldn't, from what I remember. You could wear a cardigan, or I think this was also called like, it's a cardigan and then a thing that you would call a jumper if you were from England. Like, you had a button-up cardigan or a non-button-up cardigan, and I at one point had a blue button-up one that I remember that I think my mom bought me specifically when I got the new jumper, and then I had someone's hand-me-down like red no button cardigan, because I think it was technically a boy's cardigan, but I was allowed to wear it because technically the girls could wear the red cardigans that didn't button up. So like, I wore those for a while, and like I thought they were dumb, and like we lived in Ohio, and there was one winter that was so cold that like you weren't allowed outside without your legs covered because it was so cold. So like my mom sent me to school with sweatpants on, because like under my jumper, because it was like -degrees out. Like, the buses almost didn't come, like we were delayed, so the temperature could warm up enough that the buses could run. And then I apparently, like, they called my mom when I was in like 1st grade to say like, your daughter is out of dress code, like you sent her in these sweatpants under her clothes. And my mom was like, it is literally below freezing, and if she doesn't wear those, her tights are not going to keep her legs warm. Like, I don't know what to tell you, she's wearing the pants. So like, I wore sweatpants under, but that was like the one time it happened, and then we had to figure something else out so I wouldn't freeze. And then by the time I hit 5th grade, you were allowed to wear pants, and the pants were way easier to get a hold of. I think it was 5th grade. But you could get pants from anywhere. So like, at that point there were enough schools with uniforms that you didn't have to get the pants from the specific clothing provider that the school told you to buy from. You could get them at like Walmart. I actually think it was Walmart, and Walmart still sells children's school uniforms from what I remember. Like I swear I've seen them, but like I could wear polo shirts and I could wear pants. So like I had a ton of like white polo shirts and a ton of like blue slacks that I could wear to school for 5th grade. So I like rarely wore a jumper after that because they were really annoying and like really hard to button because like I was not a small child, and like the jumper was like the worst thing to put on because it had like a special, you can't really tell, I'll try and back up, but like it had a clasp here and then you just zip it, and I have big hips and I've always had like a pretty defined hip area, and like I could not at certain points zip or button my jumper correctly. So like they were just a mess, and the pants were way easier to deal with. Yes. So like she keeps talking about being in like a skirt that's too short and her top is too tight because like she was wearing her old clothes at the start of events, and so like nothing really fit her, and I'm like, oh my god, I hated jumpers. Like I just kept thinking about how when I used to have to go to school I would wear that skirt and I would hate it so very much. Like I just hated having to wear it like with every fiber of my being. And like I own like a couple costume skirts. Like I have a Bi Pride like schoolgirl style skirt, and I've worn it in the summer just for like fun at Pride, but like that's for fun and I wear shorts under it. But like you couldn't wear certain things under your jumper, and it was like a whole thing. I absolutely hated uniforms. Drove me up a wall. Also, when I was in like 3rd grade or maybe 2nd grade, some grade, I was also in Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scout uniforms got changed. So like Girl Scout uniforms turned into, you could wear like khaki pants and a white polo, and I wore khaki pants and a white polo that said Girl Scouts, like they had a logo on them, and I got dress coded because they thought I just didn't wear my dress pants to school, like my actual uniform pants, and my mom had to be like, no, that's your Girl Scout uniform, and she's allowed to wear her Girl Scout uniform according to school like code. And it was like a whole thing. They didn't even ask me. They just like called my mom and said I was out of dress code, which is so stupid. Yeah, so just like reading all about uniforms, my brain just keeps being like, oh, I hated uniforms so much. Uniforms were so terrible. Why are uniforms the worst? Also, fun fact for you. This is so, it has to do with the book, and I'm including this because it just makes me think of it. So like their whole argument is like, you're protected, you can't get sick because of God. So when I was in 1st grade, there was like a chickenpox outbreak, which totally happens. Like chickenpox hits schools all the time. And we had this stupid thing called office buddies, and I complain about this all the time. So my mom had just recently like given birth. My brother and sister, who are like about 6 years younger than me, had like basically just been born, like that year. And they were very little, and there was a chickenpox outbreak, and so like you would think teachers would listen to you because it's a school and kids are gross. Like we know this, kids carry germs a lot, and in school settings everyone gets them. So we had this stupid thing called office buddies, and I say this because they would pair a guy and a girl and a boy up. That was always the system. Girl and boy, girl and boy. So like I was paired up with a boy, and we both had to physically hold a folder and take it to the office with the attendance in it every day for a week. And that would have been fine, except he had been out with chickenpox, and he came back and he had like visible pox still on his hand. And I remember at the age of whatever I was in 1st grade being like, I don't want to touch that folder. And they were like, you have to touch the folder, that's part of how it works. And I was like, but he totally has something on his hand and I would like to not touch the folder. They still made me touch the folder. Like they literally told me I would be in trouble if I didn't hold the folder. And then I had to touch his hand, and I got chickenpox. Now I probably would have gotten chickenpox anyway, but childhood me was like, if I hadn't had to touch the folder, we wouldn't have gotten chickenpox, because I of course gave it to the 2 babies in my home. So I was so upset about this. And then he got to come back even though he still had visible pox, like they were on him. And when I came back as a small child, I had to like basically take off most of my clothes so that the secretary, who is not a nurse, could verify that I didn't have any visible pox upon my body. Me, a child. Like, how is that appropriate? And I didn't have a parent there either. Like, I just remember being like, this is really uncomfortable and I don't like it. And they were like, no, you have to like show us your tummy. And like, I had to like lift up my clothes. And I was like, I don't have pox. Like, my mom wouldn't have sent me to school if I was still sick. And they were like, we have to check. And I'm like, that stupid fun kid. I did not curse in the 1st grade. But like, if I did curse, I would have been like, that stupid fucking kid got to come back. And now you're checking me all over my body. Me, a youth with no adult present. Anyway. So let's just say that the Catholic school I went to was not great. It really wasn't great. Like, really just not a good school. Not gonna tell you what it was, but people who know me would know what school it is. But it was terrible. Anyway, that was my aside about all the things this book makes me think of. I have not watched any religious horror. FYI, I have not gotten to it yet. I kind of want to watch Grotesquerie, the new Ryan Murphy show, but also like kind of don't. I don't know. There are nuns in it. I also did watch The Nun like last week, so I'm debating if I want to watch The Nun 2 because it's on Netflix. And there's also The First Omen and Immaculate on Hulu, but I don't know when I'll get to those. So I'm like debating. I want to fit at least like one religious horror movie in here on top of the book. So we'll see. I have those 3 set aside as options, and Grotesquerie is just kind of like a, maybe I'll watch the first episode and see how I feel at some point. But I'm gonna go. That was my big update. Oh, and I want to show you the thing in the corner of my office, but I'm gonna stop filming and show it to you, and then you'll get to know the secret mystery thing that hides out in my office, hidden by computer monitors. So I will talk to you actually in just a sec, but you'll be at a weird angle. So be right back. Ta-da! This is the super weird thing I wanted to show you. So this is glow-in-the-dark Jesus. I have had glow-in-the-dark Jesus for years. Many years. I think it was my mom's. I don't know. I had it in my room when I was a kid. Like, it was over the bed when I was like 5 or 6. And I've just like always moved it with me, and it's like come to exist in most places. I can't remember if I took it to grad school or not because I couldn't put anything on the walls really, or if I did, you had to like patch it. And I think I left him at home because I didn't really know where I would put him in the apartment I was in. But I moved him when I moved to New York from Ohio. And at our old house, I think I just like set him somewhere. But here I just put him behind my computer monitors because Krista actually thinks it's really creepy that it glows in the dark. And I don't know how old it is. I have no clue, but it's just like the goofiest thing, and I leave it there all the time. Just sits. I can't even see it unless I like walk over here, but I just think it's the goofiest like Catholic thing that this is glow in the dark. Like, I just don't understand why it's glow in the dark, but it glows really well. Like, if I turned off the lights, which I can't do because it's sunny, this would be so bright. This would be neon green. I don't know that I can show you that because my camera I don't think will pick up on it, but I just need to show you this very odd moment of iconography in my office. So yeah, I will talk to you later more about the book, possibly about a movie if I fit one in at some point. But yeah, talk to you later.
In fact, read some articles about candy corn. We got the Better Homes and Gardens history of candy corn and the appropriately named Halloween's most contentious sweet explained for Tanya Piper Fox. So I think, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Midge, I believe you are a candy corn eater.
I'm an apologist. Yes, I'm a fan of the corn.
Yes, I would say that I am generally a fan of the corn as well. I'm not like, this is my favorite candy, but like, I want to eat some when it's Halloween time.
I mean, I will say I'm never just like eating a bag of candy corn.
Yeah.
Like, I am always eating it in a like Scarecrow Crunch kind of
yeah, you gotta have the
situation. But I'm
So we just got back from dinner and a very long walk. So we walked to this like country club that's a little ways from where we live to get dinner because it was taco night there, and they did shrimp tacos, which were very good. I got a margarita, that was also very good. And then we walked there, and then we walked back, but we took like a roundabout way back to get a nice walk in. We just managed to beat the rain because it is now like downpouring. But I wanted to show you my outfit from the day. You saw the top, I think, in the last clip, but I was wearing these very fun, you can see my camera strap, these like fun leggings. So yes, so I'm here to do a quick update. I'm so close to done with American Rapture, so I'm not going to give you final thoughts until I'm done. Again, it will be spoiler free, I promise. I'm just like, I'm almost done. I'm so close to done, and I'd rather just like finish it and give you more thoughts. But I did wind up watching a religious horror movie as planned-ish. I wound up watching Immaculate because it was the shortest. So Immaculate's only an hour 29 minutes, and The Nun 2 and The First Omen were both like 2 hours, and I just like didn't have that kind of time. The half hour you would think would be like a negligible thing, but I really did not have time for that extra half hour. So I watched Immaculate. It was not what I expected. So I was like, okay, so it's called Immaculate, there's none in it, and so I like assumed something weird would happen involving, you know, conception. And it does. Just like did not go where I expected. Was very curious. I don't know that I would say like it's the world's best movie. Like there's some creepy stuff happening. There was definitely some creepy like, and this is why, sorry, there's something in my eye. Like a lot of it was just like creepy. Also, unexpectedly, I should have known this would happen, but the nuns were talking in Italian a lot. And for some reason, because our main character said that she couldn't speak Italian, I did not expect almost all the dialogue from the nuns to be in Italian. Like I thought like someone would translate it so that they would like talk and then we get a translator, and that didn't really happen. There were sporadically like was frustrating. I hate when things do this. Hulu had closed captioning in the movie. Like the movie came with closed captioning for all the Italian. Like it was part of what was released in theaters. But then Hulu puts speaking Italian over the translation of what they're saying. And I was like, are you kidding me? I hate when they do that. You think they would know. You think they would understand that they're covering up the closed captioning for those of us who don't speak Italian. Goose is chilling and Chris is getting comfy. But the movie was fine. It was creepy. It was a decent hour and a half. I also feel like there were nods to Rosemary's Baby in it. Just as an aside. But yeah, so it was okay. It was on Hulu. It was fast. I don't know when I'm gonna get to Grotesquerie. I still kind of want to check it out. If you've seen any of it and want to tell me your thoughts so far, I would love to hear them. I just know there are nuns in it, and they say something about Catholics in one of the episode descriptions, but that's all I know. And then at some point I'll probably watch The Nun 2 just to know what happens in it. And then I do at some point want to watch The First Omen, but it's not like high on my priority list unless it's incredible. It's also set in Italy, I think, because Rome. I think it's at like the Vatican or roundabouts. So yeah, but I want to show you this outfit because it was cute, and I want to change because I'm kind of sweaty from our walk. But yeah, so it's a solid movie about immaculate conceptions. And yeah, so I'll have final thoughts for you on the book as soon as I finish it, which should be not too long because I have my goal of finishing this by Wednesday morning at the latest. So I will talk to you with American Rapture final thoughts very soon. Good morning. It is a beautiful fall day. I have a hot cup of coffee in this very cute Mickey Pumpkin mug. It's so cute. I'm taking a sip actually. Yes, I normally drink from the front. It's the ears. I can't hold them the other way. Don't ask. Okay, so sip of coffee had. I am here because I did it. I finished it. And this book is so good. So the ending is like a combination of heartbreaking, hopeful, beautiful. It actually, and like it works to tie in a lot of references that are made throughout the book. So Dante's Inferno gets mentioned a lot, or Dante's Divine Comedy, which I really want to reread now because it's been a minute. I did read it ages ago. I actually think we had to read it in high school, but Catholic school. It was a public school. So it was so good. There are so many things that the characters wear that I wish I could buy. Like, at a certain point, and I'm not going to say how this happens, they wind up with like sweatshirts from a cheese hut. And I'm just like, I want those sweatshirts. Like, the sweatshirts are just so hilarious. There's just so many like wild stuff. And I know CJ Leede has actually released merch. Like, she's worked with someone to make merch, or she designed the merch, I'm not sure. But like, I also want those shirts from the cheese place. The sweatshirts. I just love a sweatshirt. If you can't tell, I'm doing, so when I wear outfits like this ties in to the actual book because I call it my Midwestern mom look. So it's like an oversized retro sweatshirt. Does this one have one? One of mine is from like 94, one is from the 80s. This one might be a 90s sweatshirt. They have like painty feel and like velvetiness, and then I'm wearing like, I don't know if you can see them. I'm just gonna lift my leg awkwardly. I'm wearing very bright leggings from Walmart, but that's what I call it. And I was like, oh, well, I did Midwestern mom style yesterday. I should do Midwestern style mom style today because I finished the book and it's set in the Midwest. But American Rapture was so good. It was just like an ideal book for me, I feel like. Like, this one like really spoke to me, really called to my very being. Like, it and I were just like meant for each other. It was so good. I feel like, especially if you were raised Catholic and are no longer Catholic, it will really just like really hit you in that sweet spot of like, I feel so connected to Sophie. Like, you will just feel so connected to her. It's so good. It is also so sad because we're in an apocalypse, so things are terrible for everyone, but it's so good. I just loved it so much. And really, I would have read it faster if I had had time to just like sit down and read the whole book in one go, but that was not possible. So this was incredible. I'm so glad that I won the ARC, because if I hadn't, I think I would have had to get the audiobook, and I actually think reading it for me was like such a bigger deal. Though I do think at some point I might get the audiobook so I have it, just because I have Mayfly on audiobook. And I have a couple other books that I've read physically that I have on audio. Sometimes it's impossible for me to get the physical book, just FYI. It's not impossible, but it's tricky. So this just like was perfect. I'm so glad that I could read it physically. I'm so excited that I just like could consume that book. Like, that book is now part of me and I love it. I need to make a thumbnail, and I think I have an idea for what to do, but like, this book is so good. I highly, highly recommend it. Definitely if you like an apocalypse book. If you like, they say The Last of Us, and I think that would work because it's like an outbreak kind of thing. And then just like former Catholic kids, this is for you. This book is just like for you. You don't have to be from the Midwest. I think being from the Midwest would help, but I don't think you need to be. I think any former Catholic kids could just like really, really love this book. It is so good. I highly recommend. If you, I would say, so once I finish it, I will say the tone, like not the tone, the way our main character is written, that writing does, I said this before, does make me think of Mayfly very briefly, in that female main character, we are getting her point of view and her internal monologue and things that are going on. So I can definitely tell CJ Leede wrote both books. This, though, definitely feels more, I don't want to say labor of love exactly. And if you read her author's note for this, she gets into more details about like how long it took to make this book, like what this book like meant. And so I would say Mayfly is the one that like, you know, that one is going to be a commercial success based on like unhinged female character. There are Psycho reference or American Psycho references. The Disney exists in it. Like, there's so many things that people are going to love because it's just like horror, and people love an unhinged female character. This book, American Rapture, our main character is just dealing with so much more. So while both are complex characters, Sophie's own like existence in the world has been influenced by so many things that we are watching a much larger shift and like a trying to understand new things that are being presented to her, while also dealing with the terrifying Sylvia. And then also so like she's just having to learn and try and grow and try and understand and work through her own sort of emotional traumas tied to her parents, her religion, the very strict nature of her life. And she's like, it's so much to go through, but then also have this like well-established like Sylvia breakout happening. Like there's just so much in this book, and it all like weaves together so well. And this just has so much happening, like so much that you are learning and understanding and following through. And it's just like, it's just so good. It's so incredibly good. There's a very loud truck outside, so the dogs are barking, so I'm gonna go. But so incredibly good. You have to read this. You have to read this. When it comes out, buy it, read it, enjoy it, love it. You have to. Anyway, now that I've told you to read it, this actually does count for my Halloween-A-Thon prompts. So if you didn't know, I've been doing Halloween-A-Thon, and I think I forgot to mention it until this point because I was working on a video before this, and I normally do more than one book in a video, but I wanted to give American Rapture like a spotlight. So the prompt for this is, let me find it because it worked out very well. Oh, it was a graveyard smash, something with sleaze, and I'm counting it because Sylvia involves sex. So there's that. That takes that. I didn't count Immaculate for anything. I probably could have if I looked hard enough, but I was really just watching that for my own like enjoyment, a little addition to the video. And then I forgot this in another video, so I'm just gonna add it here. I watched Hellfest. It's like very, like pretty short movie on Peacock. And I counted that for the prompt Michael Myers slasher because there's a slasher in it. It was fun. It was a very, like, it's a very perfect for Halloween, like, you don't super have to pay attention movie. And an actor from the Scream TV series was in it, which surprised me. It was fun. There's a slasher in it. There's like a haunted-y carnival kind of thing. Like, it's one of those things, not exactly, they call it Hellfest because they're trying to say it's like a hell house because people can touch you and you can be grabbed, blah, blah, blah. But it's really just like very extreme haunted houses, but it's run by some kind of company. It's actually run by Tony Todd, aka Candyman. Like, that's not his name, but it's Candyman. I'm not saying that word one more time. But that was just like a fun random thing I watched at some point in the past 2 weeks, and I forgot to mention it, so I'm adding it here. But yes, American Rapture, absolutely incredible. I think it's out the 15th. I think it's October 15th or October 14th. So I know it is out very soon. So you should buy it in any format, and just, it's so good. I am just incredibly happy that I was able to read it and that the universe was on my side and like let me have an early copy. So yes, I'm just so grateful. But I'm gonna go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. There will be so many more Halloween videos. I actually have to start a video later today to be on track for what I'm doing. So yeah, but if you've read American Rapture or you're planning to read American Rapture, let me know in the comments. Also, if you have other religious horror, please let me know because I would love to read or watch or listen to more, depending. But yeah, so I think that's everything. You can also find me on Instagram at CliffGoEverAfter. And yeah, that is everything. Bye, internet people.